standard weekday afternoon turned into a scene of chaos and devastation on May 6, 2026, as Petaling Jaya, PJ, was struck by one of the most intense flash flooding events in recent history. Heavy, relentless monsoon rain, far exceeding the capacity of the city's drainage systems, triggered a rapid rise in water levels, trapping thousands of commuters, inundating residential homes, and causing significant structural damage across several key precincts. The storm began shortly after 2:30 p.m., with dark clouds rapidly blanketing the Klang Valley. By 3:30 p.m., the Malaysian Meteorological Department, MetMalaysia, had issued a red level alert, but for many in Petaling Jaya, the warning came too late. Within less than an hour of torrential downpour, primary arteries including the Federal Highway, LDP, and NPE were transformed into rivers of murky brown water. At the heart of the crisis was the FAS Tunnel in Ara Damansara. Known as a historical hotspot, the tunnel became a watery trap for several vehicles. Dramatic footage shared on social media showed Royal Malaysia Police, PDRM, officers waist-deep in water, physically pushing stalled cars to safety to prevent drivers from being swept away. The Petaling Jaya City Council, MBPJ, confirmed that the flooding was not localized but widespread, affecting both industrial and residential zones, Section 51A and industrial hubs. This area suffered some of the worst impacts. The popular Medan Selera 223 and the Amway Malaysia headquarters were surrounded by rising waters, forcing staff and patrons to evacuate to upper floors. PJS localities. Residents in PJS2, PJS4, and PJS6 reported water entering their living rooms within minutes. The rapid onset meant many were unable to move furniture or electronics to higher ground, leading to massive financial losses. Taman Buana Perdana and Section 17. These residential clusters saw streets become impassable, effectively isolating elderly residents and those without high-clearance vehicles. The saturation of the soil led to secondary disasters. In Section 20/14, a significant landslide occurred along a drainage slope, threatening the stability of nearby housing structures. MBPJ technical teams were forced to cordon off the area as the slope continued to shift under the weight of the rain. Simultaneously, urban wind tunnels created by the storm toppled massive, decades-old trees. Major obstructions were reported on Jalan Barat, near Wisma Daju, Jalan Templer, and Section 8. These fallen trees not only crushed parked vehicles, but also severed power lines, leaving parts of Petaling Jaya in darkness as night fell. The MBPJ Panta Squad, Emergency Response Team, was fully mobilized by 4 p.m., deploying pumps and clearing debris from clogged scupper drains. However, the sheer volume of water, estimated to be a 1 in 50-year rainfall event, simply overwhelmed the existing infrastructure. Local lawmakers and residents have begun questioning the adequacy of the city's flood mitigation projects. We have seen millions spent on retention ponds, yet the federal highway still turns into a swimming pool every time there is a 2-hour storm, said one frustrated commuter who spent 5 hours stuck in traffic near the Asia Jaya LRT station. Urban planning experts argue that the rapid densification of Petaling Jaya has left the city with too many impermeable surfaces. With fewer green lungs to absorb rainwater, the runoff is directed entirely into an aging drainage network designed for a much smaller population. The drainage system in PJ was built for a different era, explains an urban hydrologist. Without a massive overhaul of the underground culverts and the construction of more underground smart-style storage tanks, Petaling Jaya will remain at the mercy of the changing climate. By 9 p.m., most of the floodwaters had receded, leaving behind layers of thick silt and debris. MBPJ's cleaning crews worked throughout the night to ensure that primary roads were safe for the following morning's commute. Insurance providers expect a surge in special perils claims as hundreds of submerged cars were towed to workshops across the city. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Environment and Water has promised a fresh audit of the Klang River's tributaries to identify bottlenecks that contribute to the backflow into PJ's drains. Previously, a violent afternoon thunderstorm accompanied by gale force winds lashed the capital today, triggering widespread flash floods and multiple incidents of fallen trees that brought peak hour traffic to a standstill. The downpour, which began around 4 p.m., overwhelmed the city's drainage systems within an hour, turning several major roads into temporary rivers and causing significant property damage in both residential and commercial districts. One of the hardest hit areas was Taman Tun Dr. Ismail, TTDY. Residents along Jalan Abang Haji Openg reported ankle-deep muddy water gushing through the streets, a situation exacerbated by the recent collapse of a retaining wall at a nearby hillside development project. The Kuala Lumpur City Hall, DBKL, had previously issued a stop work order for the 6 million ringgit National Landscape Department project, following a mudslide on April 18th. But today's rainfall proved too much for the temporary mitigation measures in place. Over 60 houses in the vicinity were reportedly affected by the sludge and rising waters. As the storm peaked, the Kuala Lumpur Command and Control Center, KLCCC, and Astro Audio Traffic recorded multiple emergency incidents across the city's arterial routes. A massive tree fell in front of the Pavilion Embassy, completely blocking traffic from both directions and requiring an immediate response from the DBKL rescue squad. Another fallen tree at the intersection of Jalan Barangan and Jalan Nagasari damaged several parked vehicles. Flash floods near the Sungai Buloh exit on the new Klang Valley Expressway led to standstill traffic for over 2 hours. Motorists were also stranded on the MRR2 near Kepong and around Jalan Kuchai Lama, which saw a repeat of its 2022 flooding crisis. In Section 51A, water levels at the Jalan 222 tunnel reached waist-high, submerging cars and forcing the police to carry out daring rescues of trapped drivers. By 7 p.m., floodwaters in most areas began to recede as DBKL and the Fire and Rescue Department intensified efforts to clear blocked scupper drains and remove fallen debris. However, the cleanup process for mud-affected areas in TTDI and Petaling Jaya is expected to take several days. Authorities continue to advise the public to monitor official weather channels and avoid parking under large trees or in low-lying underground parking lots during the afternoon storm window. A food court in Petaling Jaya was inundated by floodwaters reaching approximately 1.2 meters following heavy rain that triggered flash floods in several parts of the Klang Valley on Wednesday afternoon. The incident occurred at the food court located along Jalan 51A/223 in Section 51A, causing disruption to nearby businesses and parking areas. Emergency call received in late afternoon. Authorities received an emergency distress call regarding the flooding at around 4:15 p.m. According to Jabatan Bomba dan Penyelamat Malaysia Selangor Operations Assistant Director Ahmad Mukhlis Mukhtar, firefighters from the Balai Bomba dan Penyelamat Petaling Jaya arrived at the location approximately 11 minutes later. The operations commander reported that the area around Medan Selera Jaya had been hit by flash flooding with water levels estimated at around 4 feet, or 1.2 meters. Several vehicles parked near the food court were also reportedly submerged during the incident. Images and videos circulating online showed muddy floodwaters entering parking areas and surrounding parts of the premises. Despite the flooding, authorities confirmed that no evacuation of victims was necessary during the operation. Ahmad Mukhlis said the floodwaters were already beginning to recede when emergency personnel arrived at the scene.
kau banjir weh. Macam?
Hah, aku tinggi.
Mak kau banjir.
Tinggi.
Tahu kuasa Tuhan.
Weh, tenggelam siut.
Ya.
Ya. Basement dah tenggelam, hari tu tak tenggelam.
Tenggelam ya basement.